before New York Knicks fans will have my head put straight on a stick, I just want to make a disclaimer that I am really a believer in Julius Randle, what he was able to do within the season, and he was able to turn the Knicks around. And I mean, me myself, I didn't have the Knicks making the playoffs. Wasn't even closer. Probably, in my opinion, we're supposed to be on the way to another top five pick, but because of Julius Randle being the catalyst, they ended up with the fourth seed. And I don't think an early playoff exit, well, that's the truth, should be looked at as a disappointment because they have overachieved in the first place. So, with that said, what's poppin'? It's your boy Tista here, coming to you and making a polarizing choice of words by saying that I think that Julius Randle is probably a pretty overrated player. I will say this again and again. I'm not a hater of Julius Randle, okay? And I really think he deserved the MIP award full heartedly. I remember when I was just a kid when he made his rookie debut with the Lakers. I still remember him going down in that first game against the Rockets. I still remember it so clearly how he went down and he was sidelined for the rest of the season. And to have people after that initial incident doubt him, call him a bust, and just look at him as another mid-tier role player, and how he was able to improve this season was very impressive. But I'm gonna stake some claims, and I shall set my own truth free. I have no claim, counterclaim, or rebuttal whatsoever to people who would say that Julius Randle has a very bright future. Of course, water is wet, the ocean is blue, and Julius Randle does still have a lot more years to come, and he's still very dangerous. And in my opinion, he should also be the main young piece focused by the Knicks front office right now. But as I said, I'm gonna speak my truth, and we're gonna put all that praise aside. And aside from him possibly making strides in the offseason, we gotta look at his very, very, very atrocious performance in the NBA playoffs, where he only tallied 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists on 30% shooting from the field and 33% from beyond the arc. A massive drop off from his stat lines that gained him that Most Improved Player title. What went wrong? You must say right now. So Julius Randle still converted on a lot of his catch and shoot opportunities at a very good rate, which is 40% against the Hawks in the regular season, where he just tore the Hawks apart. I think he averaged more than 30 points a game in those 3 scheduled meetings against the Hawks in the regular season. But he went from knocking down shots in the 40% rate in the regular season to just 27.8% in the playoffs. A measly drop. He was also much more reliant on those shots where pull-up threes made up 8.3% of his field goal attempts in the regular season. They made up almost a fifth of his field goal attempts in the playoffs. About 20%. Isn't that crazy? Pull-up threes. That speaks one-dimensional to me. I feel like he should have more of a bag than just pull-ups. You shouldn't be pulling up 20% of the time and be the main driving force of your offense, especially if you're not shooting in above average level. He struggled from mid-range as well, okay? Going from 41.5% from the distance in the regular season to just 10.3%, 10.3, mind you, 10.3, all right, in the playoffs. He missed a decent amount of shots that were falling for him in the regular season, but as I keep saying to a lot of people, and what I had in my mind earlier on was that a lot of people slept on the Hawks' capability to clamp up the interior. Okay, guys like John Collins and DeAndre Hunter are very pesky, lengthy, and they just have a lot of reach to them that they didn't make life easy for Julius Randle. Whenever Randle put the ball on the floor, Clint Capella, the freaking alley-oop demigod, was usually there to make sure that at least one person was between him and the basket. So massive kudos to Nate McMillan for this devising an anti-Randle deterrent. So New York as a whole was bad at shooting, so there was little spacing for Randle. That contributed some more to his downfall, to him, plummeting down the face of the earth from his MIP campaign. I know a lot of people may be saying as well that the Knicks should trade Randle, or that his play is only compatible for the regular season, while others are in the opposite side of things, saying that the Knicks should very well pay a very deserved contract, very big bucks on Julius Randle's upcoming years. All right, and I agree. I feel like people, or Knicks fans in general, who would want the front office to ship him out just because of 5 games, may be a little bit of an overreaction. Alright, so I basically explained why I think he's very overrated. His subpar shooting against elite defenses will cost his teams to just underperform in the playoffs. And if he's not scoring, if he's not tearing the defenses apart, what else is he doing? He is an atrocious playmaker. I mean, for a somewhat of big, he is an okay rebounder, but nothing too flashy. On the defensive end, he isn't well known as well. So if you take out his ability to make baskets, then he doesn't really do anything on the floor. That's why I think people are putting too much glory on his name, while he should still be improving. But with that aside, let us now divulge into why I personally think the Knicks should zero in and just go full steam ahead with Randle as one of their core pieces. Okay, I don't think he should be a first option. Don't get me wrong, but he still is going to be a great player for contention. So the Knicks can offer him a 4-year and 106 million extension in this upcoming free agency. So even as Randle could end up as the second or third option in that Knicks team, which I really think would be beneficial. That contract, that hefty amount of 106 million, those 8 digits, I don't think that would be very damaging for New York, because they still have a huge cap space. All right, they have as much as 60 million this summer, and they don't really have that much money committed beyond the upcoming season. So Julius Randle's 26 million per year won't really be that much hurt or detriment towards their future in signing other star players. More importantly, as I said, we're pointing at Julius Randle as a guy who keeps on improving, so he may use these 5 abysmal games in the playoffs as motivation to get better. So he also, from the man himself, he said that this whole series could be a learning experience for him. And he also, that's a common theme from what he has said in his first season donning that Knicks jersey. He struggled last season, and with a team that went 21-45, still the laughing stock of the league. And it feels so long that the Knicks were being clowned. Now they're being praised. How can time fly that fast, right? But he still persevered. He shut out the outside noise and he got better. So that's really one thing that you should give him props for. He worked in the off season on his shooting. Hopefully he could again this year, and he got stronger and quicker, I'd say. So with that improvement, I really think that it would somewhat go down to him. He is definitely going to be a better player, but the main answer and what begs the question is that will and how would the Knicks build upon this momentum? So Randle proved that he could deal with a lot of flack that he has received, even if he goes on stretches like in the postseason where he doesn't play well. So hopefully he's gonna use that fuel to light up his fire. They should remain committed to keeping him beyond his current contract, which contains a team option for 2021 and 2022. And I would just like to close by saying that even as I think that he doesn't contain the necessary skill sets at all to be a very great first piece, that alpha dog in a championship contender, doesn't mean that he isn't a great player who could keep on improving. That wraps up this video, and as I said, Julius Randle's a phenomenal player, but I really don't think he should be a first option moving forward. And if Knicks fans were to murder me in my sleep, then so be it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Stay tuned for more. Peace out. See ya. Thanks for the support.